Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Kavetha and this is my group members Puvithra, Saravanan and Logineey Sagar. Today we will present about VB project number 1. Now I pass my slide to Puvithra. Thank you.
Next, I am going to explain about how to create, compile and execute simple Windows forms. First, we should open the Google Chrome or other source for download the Visual Studio software. When you download the software in your desktop, it can be very easy to use. Next slide. First, we need to create a new project file to get started. Select the Create New Project option in Visual Studio as displayed over here. After click Create a New Project, we should type Window at search bar for easy to find the appropriate application form. Example, Windows Form App.NET Framework. Once we choose, we can click the Next button. Next slide. The second step is that we'll rename the project name form as what you want. Then click the location to save your form desktop folder. Here is the example picture to find your folder to save your file, and it's very benefit for us because we no need to search the file anywhere, just open straightly where we save the folder with rename, then click create. Next, after save and click create, the form one will display. We have more options to create the form in this picture. We can see the left side of the Form Service Explorer, Toolbox and Data Source. Next slide. We can see the right side of the form have Solution Explorer and Properties. Now we have to compile and run your form after you have finished it. So to do so, press the Start button as shown in the illustration. This is the Start button. Next, I'll pass to Ms. Kavetha.
Thank you, Puvithra. Now I am explaining about determine the properties of the object controls. Visual Basic Form is the container for all the controls that make up the user interface. Every window you see in the running Visual Basic application is a form. Thus, the term form and Windows describe the same entity. Visual Studio creates a default form for you when you create a window form application. Every form will have a title bar of which the form captions is displayed, and there will be buttons to close, maximize and minimize the form. Text box controls allows you entering the text on the form at runtime. But by default it takes a single line of text. However, you can make it accept multiple text and even add scroll bars to it. Let's create a text box by dragging a text box control from the toolbox and dragging. The label control. The label control represents the standard Windows label. It is generally used to display some informative text on the GUI which is not changed during runtime. Next slide. Button. The button control represents a standard window button. It is generally used to generate click event by providing a handle for click event. The list box is represent a window control to display a list of items to a user. A user can select an item from the list. It also the programmer to add the items and design the time by using the properties window of at the time. Combo box. The combo box control is used to display a drop-down list of various items. It is also a combination of a text box in which is the user enters an items and drop-down list from which the user select items. The radio button control is used to provide a set mutually exclusive options. The user can select one radio button in a group. If you need to place more than one group of radio buttons in the same form, you should place them in different container control like the group box control. The radio button also checked by property of the radio button in use to set the state of a radio button. You can also display text image or both on radio button controls. You can also change the appearance of radio button controls by using the appearance property. Next slide. Checkbox. The checkbox control allows the user to set the true or false or yes or no type options. The user can select or dislike deselect it. When the checkbox is selected, it has a value true, and when it is clear and it holds the value false. The checkered box control has three states: checkered and uncheckered and indeterminate. In the indeterminate state, the checkered box grayed out to enable the indeterminate state. The three-state property of the checkered box is said to be the true. The picture box. The picture box control is used to display image on the form. The image property of the control allows you to set the image both design time or run time or at run time. Then list view. The list view is control is used to display a list item along with the tree view control allows you to create a Windows Explorer like an interface. The list view control displays a list of items along with the icons. The item property of the list view controls allows you add and remove items from it. The select items property contains collections and selected items. The multi-select property allows you to select the more than one items in the view. The last one is date time picker. The date time picker control allows to select a date and time by editing the display values in the control. If you like to click the arrow, the date time picker control, it is display the month and calendar like a combo box control. The user can make selection by clicking the required data. The new selected value appears in the text box part of the control. Next slide. And now explain the usage of menu and submenus. The example picture of menu. The menu bar is the part of the browser and application window. Typically, at the top left side that houses drop-down menus that allows the user interact with the content or application in various ways. Menu is the menu bar in a window form that displays a list of related commands, and it is built using menu state control. The menu control is also known the VB-NET menu state control. The next menu submenu. The example pic of submenu. A submenu is a term used to describe a menu container within another menu. For example, submenu is often identified by having a small arrow or chevron pointing to the right to at the edge of the option. Users using the keyboard to navigate a menu can access submenu by pressing the right arrow to key or collapse the submenu by pressing the left arrow key. Now I pass my slide to Logineey Sankar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kavetha. Next, I will explain about the usage of the dialog boxes. Okay, there are many built-in dialog boxes to use in window form for various tasks like opening and saving files, printing a page, providing choices for colors, font, page setup to the user of an application. These built-in dialog boxes reduce the developer time and workload. Then, when you double-click any of dialog controls in the toolbox or drag the control into the form, it's appear to the component tray at the bottom of the window form designer. They do not directly show up the form. Example: cancel. Return dialog result cancel when user click a cancel button. Next, retry. Return dialog result retry when user click and retry button. Next, yes. Return dialog result yes when user click and yes button. Next slide. Okay. The Save File dialog control commands the user to select a location for saving a file and allows to the user to specify the name of the file to save data. The Save File dialog control class interest from the abstract class file dialog. Next, color dialog. Control class respond a common dialog box that display available color along with the control that enable the user to define custom colors. It lets the user select a color. Next is a print dialog. The print dialog control lets the user to print documents by selecting a printer and choosing which section of the document to print from a window form application. Next is it promotes the user to choose a font from among those installed on the local computer and lets the user select the font size and color. Okay, explain the use of message box and input box. The first one is message box. This is a built-in dialog box that can be used to display a message to the user and wait for a response. This function is extremely useful and is often very handy when you are debugging. This function returns a value which is indicate what choice that the user made. This function can be inserted anywhere in your code to pause the program and display a message to the user. Next is input box. This is a VB built-in dialog box that can be used to promote the user for information. This type of message box display a message and wait for the user to respond by pressing the button. This function always returns a string, so you often have to convert the value to its correct data type. Even if a numeric value is entered, it will be written as a string. Next slide. Next I pass to Puvithra.
Next slide is about demonstrate the flow of the program that has been built starting from entering input to displaying output. So let's go to this. So this is our VB project. So in the first form there is menus, file, edit, tools, help, and there are sub menus inside them. Got many, and then in file, in sub menus there are multi-line, which is folder file for new, folder file too, but the control is different. Got save, and then for tools got color. Under color there are background and foreground. So now program menu, this is a label and button, start order. So when we click the start order, this form 2 will appear, and the form 2 name is simple program with basic object controls. So this is the group box, and inside the group box there are picture box and radio buttons. So let's say I'm clicking on the eyeshadow radio button and click the show button. It will show the price, which is 50 ringgit. If I click mascara and show, it will 75. Foundation show, foundation and show, it's 100. Lipstick and show is 69 ringgit. So after this, when I click order, it will go to the form 3, and the name is dialog boxes program. So form 3 is about order details, customer details. So there are 4 buttons. The first one is back color, which let's say I'm picking orange. The back color will change, and this one is for color, which is for the font. So let's say I'm picking this color, and this is font dialog. So bold 36, and if I write something, it will come working. So these are called as dialog boxes. This is next button. When we click the next button, form 4, which is the last form, will show. The form 4 name is message box and input box program. This is a picture box, and this is a label, payment details. Let's say I'm inputting account number and password. The password won't show. If I click back, it will go to the previous form, and when I apply, an input box will appear. Enter your order ID. So when we click OK, it will ask a message box, do you want to confirm the transaction? And if we say OK, it will proceed the transaction. So that's it from us. Thank you.